Hello, everyone, and welcome to our fourth annual DudaCon. This is the 2025 DudaCon conference. I'm so excited to welcome everyone. We've got folks already in the chat from all over the world. We've got UK, France, London, Florida, Texas. If you've let us know where you're coming from. I'm calling in here from Denver, Colorado, and we've got some great folks on the call with us today, which I'll introduce in a second here. Yeah, so I'll just give you a quick overview of what we're going to be doing today. So today is the first day of our 3-day DudaCon conference with the theme of Shape Your Future, Reimagine What's Possible in Web Building. So we have 3 amazing sessions today. This first one is on the SEO and discoverability game in 2025, and then we'll do another session on AI and GA4 in a second, and then our founders keynote will be after that. So very excited to welcome you all here, and I'd like to introduce our speakers for today as well. So we've got Tomek, Rudzki. Do you want to say hi and let us know where you're coming from today, calling from today?
Hello, everybody. So I'm coming from Wrocław, Poland.
Awesome. We've also got Aleyda Solís here with us today.
Hello, everybody. Very looking forward for our today's session. It's great to be able to share with all of you today.
Excellent. And we've got Michael King as well.
Greetings and salutations, folks. I'm broadcasting live from Brooklyn, New York City, and excited to be here.
Yeah, this is awesome. Super excited to kick this off. And obviously, we've got some of the best and brightest in the SEO industry here with us today. So I'm going to hand it over to Tomek to get started, and we'll go from there. Tomek, are you ready to share your screen? And
yes, so we need,
Excellent.
Oh, we need to go to slide number 1. Okay, welcome everybody. So everybody now is asking, is SEO dead? So let's check. So when we look at Google Trends, we can see that it was trending at least 7 times in the past 5 years, with at least 5 times in the previous half year. So something is happening. And maybe from Greek mythology, the phoenix cycle. It's a mythical bird that it's known for its cyclical life and death. So it's always getting killed, and then it's reborn from the ashes, and then the cycle going next. And I think that something similar is happening on LinkedIn, on any other place that everybody is talking about. Is SEO dead? So people are saying, yes, SEO is dead, and then not yet. So I think that cycle is coming all the time. And what we know is that search has changed. That's for sure. And for me, as a person who was driven by curiosity of SEO, I know one thing, that the only constant is change itself. And then we all remember, okay, maybe I don't remember that much because I didn't have internet at that time. But Google at the very beginning was very pure search engine, no weather, no search news, no links to sponsor. And it was I was trying to get something as close as possible to that experience. So I was just skip the ads, and I was able to see the top blue links. But now it's not gonna happen anymore. So what is happening now is that we get direct answers from AI search engines, AI overviews, AI mode, ChatGPT, Perplexity. So people ask questions, and then AI assistants are giving the answers, right? And now there are 3 types of SEOs. First, that kind of SEO is saying, it's still SEO, we are fine. I mean, oh, that's a bold shot. As another type of SEO is that we need to evolve. And the third type of SEO is that it's totally different, and it's no longer SEO. And I think that I'm definitely not the first one, But I think that there is too much fear among SEOs about uncertainty of future of SEO and all the stuff happening. So that's why I created that presentation to discuss about these fears and then trying to digest into them like step by step to see maybe that fear is not that scary as it is. So let's see how it goes. So the first thing that we need to understand is the middleman revolution that is happening right now. Before we had direct connection with our customers, so they were able to visit our website and then get informed decision about buying from our website or no. Now it's no longer direct connection between us and our clients. It's AI assistant that it's staying in the middle and then asking, like getting information from the clients and then giving them answer. And the problem is that it's not our paid assistant that is giving answers only about our brands, but that assistant is giving the answer based on all our competitors and based on our selling. So that's the problem, that we need to compete now with not only with our competitors, but also about all the stuff it's happening right now. So there should be a mindset shift for SEOs, because this is one, like the biggest change in search engines since the very beginning, since 1998. And traditional SEO was based on ranking website high and waiting for visitors to click through, right? That was very easy. I mean, quite easy to get to the top, especially in the old days of SEO. But now we need to ensure that AI systems accurately represent our business when people ask relevant questions. So it's like training a salesman to understand if their knowledge is like, if they know all about our products, if they know what are the pros, okay, maybe not cons, but if they know about pros of our service, if you ask about, okay, what are the best companies that do something, and then you check their knowledge, okay, if they say something good about your brand or not, and if not, then we try to understand why. And that's the biggest shift right now. And now we can talk about our biggest fears. So fear number one is AI search is completely different. And that made people think, okay, SEO is dead now. So I was looking into data at Ziptie data, and then I noticed that there is quite high correlation between ranking in traditional search results and appearance in AI search. So if you rank number one in traditional Google, you have 25% of chances to be included in AI search. And I came up with idea that success in AI search depends on 3 factors. So the foundation is traditional ranking. Then you need to create relevant content because of passage ranking, because of all the stuff is happening. And then some other ranking signals that are, I would say, specific to a given AI search engine. It could be AI overviews, AI mode, ChatGPT, Perplexity. And then we got information from Google's documentation. So it seems that both AI overviews and AI mode, they're rooted in the core search quality and safety systems that Google was refining for 20 years. So that gave like strong confirmation that not only about my correlation study, but it's also based on Google's documentation that it works this way. And fear number 2 is that AI search kills SEO. So when we think about this, like when I ask, let's say a given query, like what are the 5 stages of the user journey? And then I get the answer from Google. And from that point of view, I don't need to research more. Like I get that information, I don't need to read the whole website. From this perspective, like my intent, my need is like fully fulfilled in that sense. So I can feel for publishers that have traffic loss, but this is something that is happening, and then we need to try we need to try our way to how to bypass these limitations. Of course, we can push on Google, hey, like you cannot go into news, and I know that there are some initiatives coming, but also if we are not publishers, if we are, let's say, SaaS companies, if we are business owners, business representatives, then we need to find our way how to stay successful. And then this is what I try to do, is that this is one of the examples. Tally is form generation software, and now the biggest acquisition channel for them is ChatGPT. I guess it's still Google, but they cannot track it properly. This is another story. But yeah, they noticed that ChatGPT is the biggest acquisition channel, and then they noticed, okay, this is great, because like this is the way for people to find about the services and then start using this, right? And then I noticed that in Google's documentation, Google was saying that they could be fewer clicks, but those clicks are higher quality. And I know that many people from SEO starting to laugh, because how it's possible, like Google was lying. I cannot say for 100% that Google is not lying, but there could be some logic behind this, especially in the way how people search, and then how we can get closer to their real intents. I will discuss this in a minute. AI search allows us to get multiple touch points with customers. So we can go into like every stage of buyer journey. While traditional SEO was mostly focused on just some of the stages, mostly about informational research, because that was the highest search demand. So everybody was approaching this. Like a click was a click. So like if we saw notice, okay, there was like uplift in our search traffic, that was good. But nobody was thinking about if that click was valid. I mean, if that click was getting into leads, into product selling, they were just focusing on getting more traffic in that sense. Now we can get closer to buying decision, and then if somebody else asks, okay, what's the best enterprise SEO agency? What's the best form generation software? What's the best form generation software for beginners or with GDPR RODO in Europe, right? And then we can get the answer. Then clients can get the answer, and then it's very close to their buying decision, because when they click, they already, I would say, pretty certain about a given choice. So I would say, in that sense, what Google wrote in the documentation can be valid to specific point. And we have to be careful with search demand, because like I had a personal beef with search demands in Google Search Console and then outside tools, because I noticed that when I look only about search demand, I miss lots of keywords, lots of valid topics that are not included. And I think that this is also happening with AI search, because traditional SEO and then AI search will tell you that safety has zero search demand. It's like below 100 checks in 1 month, 100 searches per 1 month. And it's not true, because Ford sells like 2 million of cars every year. While, okay, we are not asking, when we want to buy a new car, we don't ask for safety. We just say, hey, I want to buy a car for family. Yesterday I had an accident and then I need a new car, or things like this. Like, we don't ask for safety. We have like full conversation that safety is the implied need. And any of the tools cannot properly capture that implied need. So that's why I have a beef with search demand. And this is something that we need to understand, that it's not only about search demand, but it's also about implied needs. And then basically trying to understand that customer journey. And yeah, later, if you know more about, if you want to know more about AI search versus traditional SEO, you can read the article by Aleyda Solís. By the way, Aleyda, congratulations on this article. And then there was a query fan out mode. I know, Mike, you did extensive research on this, so also congratulations. But I think that many people try to digest too deep into that topic, and then spend lots of time on this, trying to understand the nuances, why they can start with very basic steps and then go deeper if it's needed. So my idea is that, so of course, like AI search uses query fan out. So this is something like, okay, they try to understand what subtopics are within this query. So like, what is Timu could be like, first, what is Timu? If it's safe, I guess proper pronunciation is Temu. Okay, if it's safe, who is the owner of Temu, and things like this. And yeah, my approach to AI mode and then query fan out is to try to understand the answer from AI mode. So here I can say, okay, first question, what is Temu? Second, key features, and then potential concerns. So then I try to understand the real answer from that search engine and trying to understand, okay, what these questions are. And then I can try to edit my content to fit into the expected answer. And then also I can ask basic prompt to Gemini and get, okay, this is my content. What could be the implied needs of the users? So I gave that information. So if I give only what is Timu, which could be like the direct answer to that question, then it's not enough. It could be like, you need to fill all this stuff to make your content comprehensive, right? So it's not only about like now AI SEO, it's about creating content that the real users need. So it's not AI search, it's also about traditional SEO as always, right? And then we can compare all these questions with AI mode and then what we got from Gemini. And we can see that lots of questions from like our prompt are appearing here. Maybe a coincidence, maybe not. You can try it on your own. Same for Perplexity. You have like similar questions in the logic, so you can see. For ChatGPT, you have extension. This is like bookmarklet by Mike Friedman. You can use this, and then there is another field. Like AI search is fully semantic, so now like people are lost. So I can understand this, but knowledge graph was like first semantic thing, 2012. Then neural machine, I guess it was like 2015, BERT 2018, and then published 2019, RankBrain 2015. So like, I mean, SEO, semantic SEO was part of SEO since 2012 to 2015, I would say. So that's not that huge change as people say, at least in my opinion. So AI will be completely personalized. Yes, I think that could be the problem because like chat can get our history, and then based on that history they can generate the answer. And I can already see that, especially in ChatGPT, but there could be like quite easy answer. Like you can ask specific prompts and trying to like capture the context. So like, for bicycle lovers, nature lovers, adventure seekers, holiday opinions. Of course, it's like not one-to-one, but still kind of approximation that can take that fear out of your SEO strategy, right? And AI mode will be default, blue links will be dead. So this is something that if this will happen, then that Google Trend chart will go like crazy in just one day. If it happen, let's see. So we can't know this if Google will delete blue links. Then who can know this? And I think that neither Larry Page, Liz Reed, and Sundar cannot know this because, like, let's see. Google is not crazy. Like, they need to get feedback from all the users, from all the generations of users, and then once they get the feedback, they will port some of the features from AI mode to classic Google search result. This is their plan. They cannot just cut their business. And of course, I can't guarantee that blue links will stay, but I can offer you like basic understanding of their business, because this is something that I like to do anytime. Like, they developed blue links for like 20 years. And now when they cut this off, then we'll burn their mode, right? From ChatGPT. So they becoming ChatGPT. And then now they're like 90+%, and then they will get to 50-50. So that's not the ultimate goal for their business. Of course, AI answers don't suit every query. So of course, like if you type iPhone, you don't want to get the summary what is iPhone from AI overviews, right? Many people hate AI. Ask Barry Adams. People still want blue links. So yeah, I think I cannot guarantee that it will not happen anytime, but I can offer you like that kind of analysis that it's very unlikely that it will happen. So I think that like when I was trying to debunk that fears and then trying to get this, like trying to make you more comfortable, I think that AI is also a huge opportunity for SEO. So first of all, you can optimize for AI search, and this is something that I didn't announce yet. I will do it tomorrow or in 2 days. But you can click optimize for any query that you check in Ziptie. Then watch carefully, because we'll see if it's about traditional SEO or it's about AI search. So now we help you improve your content by like giving better answers for users' questions, right? So this way you will see, okay, I need to improve my answer for this question and the others. Then we improve EAT. So like if it's a new concept, then tell me. But I think that Lily Ray was like telling about EAT for ages now. I mean, she's not that old, but she's like very expert into this topic. And then that was part of SEO since at least a couple of years, right? Yeah, and then we also give you some ideas about how, okay, like for outreach, and then you also have some ideas about which content you have to edit, because you already know that, okay, this article like tally versus typeform is using like very frequently by AI search. So now you can edit that article and put some other content here. So like it's very likely that AI search will use that to expand your visibility. So I would say I still call it SEO. Maybe you have some other opinions, but I mean, I was building that system, trying to understand what is valuable for AI SEO. But I still see that traditional SEO is very basic. I mean, it's a foundation for all the AI search success, right? And yeah, so that's what I said. It's still SEO. And I believe that in AI SEO, there are lots of long-hanging fruits. So people like trying to catch up with things, and they lost like very basic opportunity that they can see. So they go into like trying to like getting scared of all the things that are happening, but they don't see all these opportunities that are happening right now. And yeah, you can create SEO automations within like that kind of automation that you evaluate content based on Google criteria. It will take you like 1 hour to create such a content, and then you paste the list of URLs, and then you get the output. So it's like 1 hour to make it happen. You also can write useful Python programs with zero programming knowledge. This is from my free ebook that I published 2 years ago. There was like entire chapter about using Python to start coding for SEO. Now it's even more powerful, because I believe that Claude is much better for vibe coding, but you still get that foundation, and I believe that this is pretty useful. And now, what I have a problem not only with AI overviews, AI mode override, is that it creates the answer based on low quality sources. So like when I check which pages are ranking top 10, then I can understand what kind of like poor information that they produce. And so that's why what you can do is that you can upload your own knowledge into your own knowledge base. So like articles that you trust, Google patents, and then you start asking these questions. It will take you like 30 minutes, 1 hour to create specific database on a given topic, but then later your learning will be much faster. Then in this example, I used all the patterns on the query fan out that were gathered by Mike, and then I was starting asking questions. And now you can imagine what was the massive improvement when we had to digest into Google Patterns manually, reading those long documents. Now we can just upload to Notebook LM, and then we can start asking questions. So that's a huge improvement. That's a huge advantage for us. And then it's up to us if we start learning or we just go into that mode. Okay, like SEO is dying. Like I don't see SEO is dying. It's definitely changing. And yeah, we need to understand that shift, that there is middleman in between us and the clients, and then we need to understand how we can optimize for that middleman, how to ensure that that middleman will help us sell more products and more like services, right? This. So yeah, I think this perfectly summarized the topic. I think that SEO is kind of a phoenix, and thank you very much. That was pleasure to have this presentation and prepare to help you, tame that fears.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tomek. This is wonderful. And just a heads up to those of you in the chat, please put your questions. We're going to switch over to our panel here now to open it up and get some more perspective on the AI discoverability game now in 2025. So I'd love to turn this to the rest of our panel now, and we can talk a little bit more about these fears that Tomek outlined and where the industry is headed. So I'd love to turn it over to you, Aleyda. I don't know if you want to get started here.
Yes, first of all, I really want access to that new section of Ziptie. Tomek, please. I definitely want to try that. It looks amazing. Congrats. I'm very looking forward to the launch. Happy to spread the word for sure. For me, regarding a lot of what you mentioned, if it is still SEO or not SEO, like every day, literally something new comes to my mind and I realize like, now it's a little bit different and I'm shifting more than what I thought yesterday, which I think is okay. We're still learning. I think that there should be like a Venn diagram right here. And we have the use cases and we have the search behavior in traditional search right now that will still overlap a bit with the way and the intent and the goal that people will fulfill or will try to fulfill or still try to fulfill with AI search platforms right now. But more and more, we can, now that we have access to more data, thankfully, because of many third-party tools who are actually providing data, unlike Google, that a lot of this behavior is different. It's not only the interface, it's not only the way the interactions and features and the way that the information is displayed and synthesized and so on. Even if the principle, as you well mentioned, Tomek, are the same as the one of SEO, scrollability, indexability, of course, even if the constraints are also different because LLMs but don't even render JavaScript, clients are rendered the JavaScript clients are rendered that is if your content is completely reliant on that. Or if it is doing here, this is a use case I haven't seen much to be talked about. If you are doing dynamic publishing, because supposedly Google is mobile first and you are providing a less than optimal version supposedly to desktop, where to mobile is server-side render and very well optimized, whatever. Well, to LLMs, not so much, and that might not work for ChatGPT. Thank you very much. So there are a lot of granularities like this of differences, but yes, we can agree that the principles in general are there, but they are apply in ways that differ, that are different, and because of the difference of interface, behavior of user, engagement of user within the platform. At the end of the day, we have all of this new group of queries that Profound the other day they published a research that they had done regarding this new group of queries, of prompts that are not navigational, are not transactional, are not the usual ones that we have or are used to see in traditional search, and are completely new to that they call generative, I believe. For me, what I have seen is the blend of task oriented or assistant oriented. So indeed, I'm right now, I am more on the vision of there is an overlap for many scenarios, for many situations, and goals and activities. Users will start using more and more AI search platforms and LLMs differently and for different purposes and with different goals than traditional search results on one hand. And yes, the principles are realistically a little bit the same a little bit of when we archive TikTok as a platform. If optimizing there can be also called SEO, I mean, they have also like not necessarily a very big sophisticated search engine, but yes, we can apply certain principles of relevance and so on. But yeah, so I guess that every search platform we can arc and ask and the same or not, but at the end of the day, it's about how people engage there, how people behave there, what is the goal and the outcome. And if they behave differently and they interact with our content differently, we cannot expect to apply the exact same criteria and strategies and have the exact same outcome and just extrapolate what we are doing, because it's not going to be successful. And we are already seeing that with the great decoupling and the type of traffic that LLMs generate versus traditional search results and so on. So I will stop now because I very looking forward to see Mike's answer too. But yes, I believe that there's an overlap for sure, but they are different things, different platforms, different engagement, different purposes. And it's normal that there's a slow shift little by little because we don't have all the data yet and people are still finding new ways to use them and they are releasing new features as well. So it's a very exciting time, I have to say. But yes, I believe that there's this evolution on platforms and they are definitely not the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Aleyda. We also will have a slide later in our presentation with our keynote that shows, again, a Venn diagram of the overlap that we're also seeing from Duda's perspective on some of the shared fundamentals. And yet, obviously, these two search methodologies have different user behaviors that we're seeing. So you'll see that again later if you stick around through the rest of the conference today. But I want to turn it over to Mike as well to share his perspective before we get to the questions that we have in the chat. We've got a few really good ones here.
My perspective is that I don't agree. And I'm actually like tired of arguing about it, so I'm not going to say too much about it. But what I will say is that the SEO industry is making a mistake by calling this SEO. They're making a mistake because this is a huge opportunity for us to reset. It's a huge opportunity for us to get away from the poor reputation that SEO has. It's a huge opportunity to get up from the little kids table of marketing and go make real adult decisions and have influence. No one looks at SEO as like a priority the way they look at it from a perspective of like social media or paid media or whatever. And people are investing heavily in AI right now, but we want to keep shoving this huge shift into something that people think should only cost a few $100s a month. It's a mistake. And that's all I got.
Well, that actually brings us to our first question, which is what should we call this? So this is a question from Timothy Bennett here. What should agencies be using the term AEO, SEO? I've also seen people use the term GEO, AIO. There's all of these different terms that people are using to talk about this. At Duda, we're using the term AI discoverability right now as a way to describe it. But what should agencies be using as they're trying to talk to clients and customers about this? Is it SEO? Is it not SEO? What should we be using? And I'll throw it out to the panel. Aleyda, do you want to start here?
By the way, Mike, I totally agree with the thinking about this is also an opportunity for us to upsell ourselves because what I have definitely seen, even if, and I believe that is something that SEOs, even if they disagree regarding how to call it, whatever, I cannot imagine being the only one seeing decision makers and non-technical people, even product managers, the C-suite, and people who never really care about SEO or disdain SEO a lot of time, like now they want to know everything about AI search. They have all the money. I mean, we had, for companies that we had create huge cases for like powerful crawlers and things like that, and fight a lot for budget and stuff. Now they are throwing money for the AI search tracker, visibility tracker, etc. So yeah, I can definitely see, and I think that in general, if is about, we're in marketing, is about the market needs, and talking in a way that it connects with their needs and what they want and what we can fulfill too. Of course, we are not going to sell something that we cannot fulfill, but I believe that in any case, if someone in the industry or in the market are in a good position and have the knowledge base in order to understand how to influence and how to grow the visibility of a brand or a website through LLMs, is us, the SEO industry. How we can package it in order to better connect with those needs that decision makers are already asking about. Well, I literally, what I do is just try to speak in the same terms. Some of them have asked me, oh, do you have the AIO platform, or do you have AIO tactics or knowledge or whatever? I literally will speak in the terms that they ask about, because I want to connect with them. I want to be able to sell in a way that they understand. Finally, I'm so happy that I have so much more easy buy-in, even if right now across many websites is still 2% of the traffic, 3%. By the way, last month or last 2 months, it was a 1%. Now it's a 3%. All of a sudden, it's growing steadily and very fast too. So there's that. And also another point, let's remember that the final outcome of LLMs as a platform won't be necessarily only traffic. Is share of mind, is visibility, is branding too. So yes, there's definitely that too, because it seems that the only way that we assess like that the important is like see how little traffic still providing. Yeah, maybe traffic won't be necessarily the only way to measure success. It's obvious, right? Because the engagement is different of the user. But yes, there's that. So my point right now is I am talking about it in the terms that my clients are, because what I really want is to be able to connect with them and to be able to fulfill their needs.
Yeah, that's an
Yeah,
excellent
I think we as an industry had the opportunity to decide what it was called, and while we were all just like, no, or not we, I wasn't doing it, just calling it, oh, it's just SEO. We've had other influential parties come in and say what it's called. Like Andreessen Horowitz came out and said, like, oh, it's GEO. So a lot of people that are at that upper crust of organizations are now just parroting that back. And then, of course, yes, you do have people calling it AEO, you have it called whatever, whatever. But I think that this, again, is an opportunity for us to like level up beyond what the channel is. I think it's like, okay, you're talking about a specific channel of search. So we're talking about generative search right now. You could be talking about app store optimization. You could be talking about classic SEO. I think that needs one umbrella term, which I've been calling relevance engineering, because ultimately what you do in any of these channels is create more relevance. You make the content more relevant. You put it in front of more relevant users, and those users, their user behaviors are measured, and then that reinforces what should rank. You want links from different relevant sources. We all know, or I hope we all know at this point, that just going after volume link building doesn't really do anything. But if you get links from highly relevant sources, you see your rankings improve. So, and the other thing is that the idea of optimization is kind of like you're a car mechanic. But I think for a lot of these new environments, because there's very little tooling, and I love that Tomek has made these improvements to Ziptie where they're giving you like direct feedback on what to do now. But there's very little tooling in our space that gives you the insights, allows you to do the things that you need to do in order to appear in these environments. And so a lot of people are having to build things. And so you're not just the mechanic anymore, you're the car maker in order to get this visibility. And so if we keep shoving this into just SEO, you are giving way more value than you're getting back from your clients. And that makes no sense to me. I think it's illogical that our industry is continuing to do that.
I think that we are speaking about kind of the same thing. like because I speaking about like I can see all the fears of people like from SEO that they knowledge is outdated. So what I want to show them is that SEO is the foundation that they can use to start learning AI SEO. And then Mike has a good point about trying to advertise ourselves. Like, okay, like I know that many people from a SEO industry don't want to learn new things. And then the industry, like all the people, like he mentioned like the article of Horowitz that they use the term geo, right? And then they're looking for geo services, not SEO services. So like it could be now, it could be about like marketing, naming, or what we do. So for me, it's like for me, it doesn't matter if I call it SEO or whatever else. What matters for me is that okay, what I do within that field. And yeah, I believe that we need to understand, okay, what business is trying to look for. I think that there was some similar situation with front-end development. There was like people were doing like HTML and CSS websites. Then there was JavaScript, so that was like one couple, and then there was like fancy frameworks such as React, Angular, and then they were selling different services. So they were still doing front-end development, but they were advertising this as React, Angular. And I think that it doesn't matter for me as an SEO, like if one person is calling it geo, AIO, optimization, whatever, but I think that we need to understand both sides. First is that your knowledge is not outdated, like it changes like quite a bit. Then you need to start building this on this SEO foundation. But also what Mike said is that you need to understand what the business is trying to understand, because like he was right that SEO has quite poor reputation within business. And yeah, this is
Let's be careful with the reputation bit, though, because, well, unfortunately, we want that reputation as a sector, let's say, after so many years of spam manipulation, whatever, especially in the early years. But realistically, we're right now in the early years also of AI search, and we have seen already so many of these cases populate lately and in social media of people complaining, and it was already one yesterday in LinkedIn, and it was a great also post from James Brockbank mentioning how some people are creating content, faking content, just to try to create consensus regarding this X service is the best for Y, things like that. In many cases, very old school tactics also translated to for AI search platforms. So let's be careful with that, because unfortunately, I guess that because there's always this percentage of this subset of people always trying to game for, let's say, the quickest outcome in the short term, even if in the long term it won't work anymore, of course, because it will evolve. But we can end up earning also a bad reputation due to that. So there's also that. I think that at the end of the day, also we as SEOs, like the ones that are doing and working with enterprise level organizations, doing the right thing, have also been able to differentiate ourselves. So I have also no doubts that this will also happen in whatever way we end up getting called or naming ourselves, optimizing for AI search platforms. But there's also always this risk because of this group of people that will always try to do this, right? And as long as it's obvious that it's not us, even if they do then some coverage in some publications about content goblins or whatever, yeah, there's always that. But yes, it will tend to happen, I guess.
So be the one who know how to optimize for AI search, and then try to understand how to market your offering to the business. So that could be the goal.
Absolutely. Okay, we have another question in the chat to please suggest good tools to check AI visibility. So yeah, as we're trying to think about marketing ourselves as AI search experts, how do you actually measure that and present that to your clients? What tools have you used? What have you seen has worked well for that? Aleyda, do you want to start?
Yes, I have been using quite a bit lately SimilarWeb. Their new AI reports are great, not only to assess yours, but also any of the player, to have a little bit of a benchmark of how they are getting found and the top prompts information, even if we know that realistically these are not 100% real prompts are there, it gives a good type of sense of the type and the nature of the questions, and the type of because of the difference also in the way that content is matched and the optimization target at the channel level rather than at the page level. How come is the homepage getting all the visibility for this other type of very specific granular queries that didn't before? And this type of awareness that is important to show to clients also in order to get more buy-in, more resources, and et cetera, right? So similar web on one hand, Profound also is the AI, I would say the AI visibility tracker, and also has prompt information and a lot of insights regarding answers and trends over time that are top notch. The more let's say sophisticated and enterprise level platform that I have seen out there. Then on the other hand, I believe that there are great newcomers. Peak.ai is definitely a great tool that I have also had the chance to test. YK, and then the usual platforms that have started to release their AI models, right? It was Systrix last week that released theirs, and I started to test, and it's fantastic. And they provide also another way and different data and input to identify more opportunities too. So yeah, so there's that. And then what I am also looking for more is this other type of tools like what Tomek was showing, that doesn't only give visibility on one hand and on how your website is performing versus other players, and also the behavior of the audience that we're getting little by little, but also what next, how to do next, right? And because we know that yes, optimize the semantic relevance of content and so on, but and more tools like crawlers that are now integrating with OpenAI APIs to analyze, for example, vector embeddings and things like that. But it is great to have like proper interfaces that are thought and designed in order to guide you to facilitate the optimization for AI platforms. So very looking forward to try what Thomas has built indeed, and I definitely think that there's opportunity for that.
Yeah, I'd say Profound, Ziptie, SimilarWeb. I like that SEMrush now has a report that shows the traffic from the different chatbots and such as well. But beyond that, everything we use is internal.
Tomek, do you have anything else to add to that?
I think I'm biased, so better to give the shot to
Yeah.
Aleyda back. Yeah, Ziptie for the video, of course, but yeah, we want to move forward.
Excellent. Okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah, we've also looked a lot at Profound and used SEMrush as well at Duda here. Another question we have in the chat. So how does local SEO change with AI mode? As a local business or an agency serving local businesses, what do we need to adapt and get more business? Yeah, we've got a couple questions on this one.
Yeah, I don't do a lot of local. We do local for like enterprise brands. So I don't know if my answers would be relevant to whomever asked that question.
Yes, I don't do local as well. I do a lot of e-commerce though. And I can say that, funnily enough, the great decoupling for e-commerce hasn't been caused by AIOs, has been caused by the product packs. Thank you very much. It will be interesting to see what happens when Google release they already announced or pre-announced shopping experience for AI mode. Whenever it happens, this hasn't even started to get tested yet, so let's see what happens there. But yes, unfortunately, I work a lot with SaaS and e-commerce and transactional websites, more of the enterprise B2B levels, but not local. Sorry.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah, Tomek, do you have anything you want to add to that? Otherwise, we can answer a few more questions in the chat and we can follow up.
Similar to Aleyda and Mike, I mean, I don't have much experience with local SEO, but based on what I see in AI overviews, ChatGPT Perplexity, when it tries to get like information about your location, tools cannot like properly get into that local mode. I can offer very basic like recommendation. Just like if you want to focus on specific places, just add the name of this city to the prompt, and then check this one. Like very basic advice, but still, this is kind of approximation that can show you if you are successful in a given place or not.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I would say also too, the same fundamentals as you would use for any local SEO now would apply with like making sure that the structure of your website is effectively optimized for that. And I think that's again more of like the general advice that we would give for that. We have another question in the chat here from Simon. Is AI now able to answer questions that users had that search never could answer? That's what I'm personally finding. So are we seeing the AI is better able to answer user questions in a way that search couldn't? I guess that's another way of asking that question. And I'll leave it up to Aleyda to get started.
Yeah, it's more of an assistant indeed. So to simplify questions that realistically the user needed a very straightforward type of answer, of outcome, rather than having to research themselves, and it was there. Yeah, 100%. So for this subset of queries, indeed, they provide certainly a better and much more straightforward experience because of personalization, because of the history and memory that they have, and the capacity to synthesize the answers from, or the information across multiple sources. Indeed, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a better, like, all of this is better for the user, right? Like, I'm not saying from the perspective of, existentially better, because people learn as they search, which I think is a better thing, and then they do the synthesis themselves. But these systems are effectively interpreting things for you, and they're also able to understand like multi-step queries and then do all of that for you. So from a user perspective, it is a better experience in that they don't have to read, through 10 different results and then do another query and so on. These systems are effectively doing that for you. So it is a better experience. It just makes everything more complicated for us as marketers.
So I think like two things. First is the personalization. Like they have all this information, and then especially ChatGPT can be very vocal about your previous history. And then like when I try to look for, let's say, hiking in Dolomites, and then they can refer to, okay, since you were looking for this, I mean, we already had that some kind of this in Google, traditional Google, but Google was not very, very vocal about where they find this information from, right? Now its personalization is stronger, and also I think that it was already mentioned, like query fanouts, when they try to get information from various queries, right? So this is something that you cannot get from this one single query, but you can get this from like compounding this from multiple queries.
So it was interesting enough. Now you made me realize that a month and a half ago I went to Lisbon, and I had literally, like, I think it was 4 hours of availability, and I wanted to go to the typical must visit places in the city center, right, or the historical center. And I asked ChatGPT, like, can you create for me an itinerary to visit the top things that I cannot miss to see in Lisbon in less than 2 hours, because I didn't want to walk that much, and they're all walkable. And yes, create me the path, and literally created it for me. And it was actually quite good, but there was a point in which it sent me to a place that was right after the other, but rather than sending me from A to B, it sent me to first A, then X, then B, and it's like, this is not the most efficient way for me to go through this step. But it was actually pretty good. And the thing is, like, it is learning, it is improving all the time too. So, and this is something for which realistically I wouldn't have done necessarily through traditional search. In that sense, I will have obtained that information elsewhere or differently, like that. So yes, I can definitely see how it fulfills this, let's say, space that wasn't fulfilled necessarily completely by traditional search.
Yeah, for sure. We have quite a few more questions in the chat here, but we only have a few more minutes. So I will let's take a couple more questions. If you have any more, please drop them in, and we'll answer as many of them as we can. We have a question from T-Tips here on how do you suggest to develop your brand and marketing, since these are areas that brands should focus on. So I think this is kind of referring to more of the brand marketing side of things that are helping brands get mentioned in some of these AI search engines. What's your recommendation for people who are trying to optimize for this?
First, you need to have a great product. That is the first thing. Then, yes, because without a great product, there's nothing. Sorry. Then the other thing, and Tomek, this has to do a lot with the example that you show with Tally, about Tally. I am actually a user of Tally, and I work a lot with SaaS, and and I see this happening a lot. And you need to create community, digital PR, be present where your community is, where your audience is. And the especially the SaaS clients that I have that do the best in right now in terms of visibility of for the wrong brand in AI platforms are the ones that engage a lot with their community, whatever they are. If they are tech, they are in YouTube. They have DevOps and DevRels and people, and they have their own forum where they have tons of Q&A that all of a sudden many times is cited in answers for comparison of their features versus their competitors. And they are even many times in Reddit, because there are subreddits that are about their sector, and they have community managers that are engaging, saying, of course, in an honest way, where they are coming from, etc., etc. So I can see that on one hand, the base, of course, great product, then engagement with community, creating content that reflects what you stand with and engaging with your audience there, making sure to document that and to have a really good reputation management control of how your brand is reflected in across all of these presence. We see a lot of Reddit, a lot of UGC, for good or for bad in AI results as well, answers. And then digital PR at the end of the day, the role of citations that we see now with AI platforms is the weight, let's say, has increased than the ones that we used to have in a traditional search result. So there's definitely that, and should be an extra incentive for it.
Absolutely. Mike or Tomek, do you want to weigh in on that one at all?
So yeah, I 100% agree with Aleyda with this. You have to understand where people talk about your brand, and then your category, your niche. Reddit, YouTube are one of the most common sources for AI search, for AI overviews, Perplexity, and ChatGPT. And especially Reddit is the source that they take information from. So yeah, this is something that you need to understand, where people talk about your brand.
Only thing I would add is you need to think well beyond text. It's not just about text. They're using video, audio, all different formats. So you've got to build what I'm calling an omni-media content strategy to be more effective here. And, I disagree with what Tomek said about query fan out. Obviously, I think it's really important to understand that, but also do kind of agree with what he's saying, because you can just look at what the citations rank for rather than like trying to guess from using Gemini to predict what the queries are. But either way, you basically have to have great coverage across that series of queries so you can have as many candidate passages as possible.
For sure. And we've got one last question here before we're out of time, but how do you get people to talk about you on Reddit and some of these other channels without it being just about you and your brand? Any 30-second ideas for how to do that?
Make friends or make news.
Give a great service. Be top notch. Yeah.
And I think it's still like, we are thinking if it's still SEO, right? This is a kind of new thing for me, because I also have to do this on Ziptie. So I'm still learning, but I still consider it an SEO now, because it's part of SEO right now. So this is about that movement for me personally right now, right?
Engage. So that is a good point, Tomek. Engage with influencers and give a sneak peek of your tool, like Tomek is going to give us of his new tool to us.
Yeah, and all people who want to try the tool, let's reach out to me, and I will be happy to talk.
Absolutely. And we're out of time for this session. These were great questions. And thank you to all of our speakers. You can follow all of them on LinkedIn. And we will be diving right into our next session with Andy Crestodina on GA4. So thank you again, everyone. And I'll see you in the next session.